Hello and welcome to the Sonic Collective. My name is Darren Scott, and it was my pick for the month of December of 2019, the last month of our decade, and just the actually the beginning of our 6th year at the Sonic Collective, which is quite exciting for us. But anyway, I am joined by Scott Coates in Thailand, Scott Gregory in Calgary, and Alan Dupuy in Calgary. And for this month, I had picked Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power. Not to be confused with the Stooges, because basically what had happened is the Stooges had 2 good albums. They put out the Stooges and then Funhouse. And then, drugs, laziness, shenanigans, crazy stuff happened. And basically their label was ready to drop them. They were ready to drop off the face of the earth. And Iggy Pop decides to sign with, I think, the same guy that had Bowie for Columbia Records, and goes to London to try and figure it out. Takes guitarist, I think, James Williamson, and goes over there and tries to figure out an album, and it wasn't going very well. So they ended up calling over the Ashton brothers, originally from the Stooges. Williamson said, okay, you can play, but I'm playing guitar now. So Ron, you can't play anymore. So Ron switched to bass, and him and Scott Ashton, and they all got together and laid down this album in 4 weeks, which is usually longer than they had to record. But it became basically one of the Consequence of Sound actually called it the most influential record in the history of punk music ever. I really like punk music. It's kind of why I chose it. I've liked Iggy for a while. I've been getting into him, and I've been waiting for the right moment. I decided it had been too long after 5 years, so I picked him. You know what? Before I get into anything more, I kind of like, maybe we'll just pass it off, because I know what I think of them, but I don't know what the other guys think of them, and I think sometimes some of my picks push the boundaries a bit. I'm going to go to the person I think this might have pushed harder than anybody, Scott Gregory. Tell me what you thought.
What? Really?
Yeah,
dude. I'm not a tourist when it comes to punk. I'm not much more than a tourist, but I got a little bit of skin in the game. I could definitely feel
Scott.
the like listening to this the first time. I kind of had an evolutionary chart, like the caveman slowly moving up the line in mind, and I was just like, holy cow, you can just see the move from them to the Sex Pistols to the Ramones into Black Flag, and then from Black Flag into Social Distortion and Nirvana, and then finally I think actually getting even closer when they become the Foo Fighters. Well, 1/3 of them become the Foo Fighters. Like I really liked it. It was interesting because my first experience with Iggy was on his own, and it was on the Black Rain soundtrack in 1989, that Michael Douglas movie, Ridley Scott, Living on the Edge of the Night. And at that point, he's got this really low, slow, melancholy kind of thing going on for that song. So when I went and looked for him and found his earlier stuff, I was like, holy crap, who is this guy, kind of thing, right? It was like a Leonard Cohen kind of movement or a moment. But I had never listened to the full album here, which is weird because it's only like 40 minutes or something ridiculous like that. But
33.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I was surprised that there were only a couple singles off of this, but I guess they probably weren't looking to try and be mainstream. I really like Shake Appeal. I really like choppy, chattery guitar in the punk. Like, it was really punchy. It was the shortest track on the album. It was, just hard in your face. I'd heard Search and Destroy before. I'm sure everyone on the planet has, but I'd heard it by like 3 other bands before I heard it.
That was remade a lot. Right? Def Leppard even did one. Yeah.
Yes, and Skunk Anansie.
Right.
A collective favorite. They also covered it, and it was actually really, really good. But it was just crazy because this thing, like this whole album, it just led me in so many other directions. Like even EMF covered, like, of unbelievable fame, covered Search and Destroy, but I wound up going down a rabbit hole with them, and then clicking on the recommendations. It led me down to Primus, which really, I know you'll probably get back into the history of this, but when Bowie was mixing this, they said that he was really prioritizing the guitar and the vocals, and he was taking the rhythm section and the drums down low. And that became really obvious to me when I was listening to Primus, where the guitars and the rhythm section always feel like they're at war with each other, right? And the bass is just really coming through, and I don't get any of that here, except for maybe on Gimme Danger, which is really brooding and subdued, and maybe it's allowed to surface a little bit more on that side. So in general, I really liked it. Penetration had a ton of distortion in it, and really feeling that kicked up another notch if you listen to Iggy's remixes as well too over top of it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. The only thing I really can say that I wasn't happy about was that mix where the drum and the bass was really pushed to the bottom. And I would really like if they would have had a better quality masters to see remixes that kind of even that balance out. But otherwise, like, this is 100% in my wheelhouse. You accidentally picked the person who was probably most comfortable.
Good. I'm glad I'm wrong. I mean, I knew you liked some other stuff, but I thought this might be pushing it.
Oh no! My mom specifically bought me a set of headphones for my stereo because I was playing a little bit too much heavy music over top of her country music in the living room. So I blamed. Well, actually, I celebrate Stone Temple Pilots' Core album because I got a free $80 set of studio headphones out of it. So
that's awesome. Well, let's go on, Alan.
Sure. Yeah, Iggy and the Stooges. I knew who Iggy Pop was. I'd never actually heard any of their music, so this was all pretty new to me. But sonically, it wasn't. You can definitely hear who influenced them and who they in turn influenced just by listening to this one album. There's a local band in Calgary here that my friend started. They're called Scratch Buffalo, and they sound a whole lot like this album. So it's it wouldn't surprise me if I asked him later on if he had been influenced by Iggy Pop and the Stooges. I was very impressed by the guitars on this album. So what was his name? James Williamson, who took over guitars.
Yeah.
I thought, going back to I can't remember if it was yourself, Darren, or Scott Gregory. One of you had mentioned during the production they really wanted to ramp up the guitars and the vocals, and I could definitely noticed that the guitars I thought were really good and almost out of place in terms of like the technical ability that James brought to the music, because the rest of it sounds very kind of lo-fi and indie, that proto-punk sound, the really sort of garage band type aesthetic. But I think it married really well. I thought it was a pretty decent production. I think for my money, my favorite songs were Gimme Danger and Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell.
Nice.
Maybe in part because I like that title. And Raw Power was pretty good too. Were any of these songs actually singles? Like, was Raw Power a single?
Yeah, 3 of them were singles. I have that listed somewhere.
Think I did much.
Search and Destroy, Shake Appeal, and Raw Power. But I think Raw Power was just in Japan.
Oh, okay.
If I remember right.
Yeah. Well, either way, yeah, I definitely enjoyed diving into it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. I kind of knew what to expect, but I didn't think I would appreciate it as much as I did. So, good pick.
That's awesome. Scott Coates?
Yeah. So I looked at your background on this, Darren, before we recorded, and I can't believe this came out a few months before I was born, and I'm 46, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Or that Iggy Pop is just put out a new album like a couple months ago and still performs with his shirt off. Like, unbelievable. What an opener. I mean, Search and Destroy. The first time I heard this was watching one of my favorite movies now, Almost Famous. And they're in a radio station with Lester Bangs, and he puts it on early in the morning. And I remember hearing that the first time I watched the movie going, what is that? So now every time I hear it, I think of Almost Famous. What I'll say is I've learned an important lesson, and every single album we listen to for this group, I've got to listen to on good headphones, because I'd put this on like a JBL speaker or my home stereo system while doing things. And even though I have good systems at home, it kind of just, it was a bit noisy at times. I hate to say that, kind of irritated me.
Oh, that's what it's known for, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of liked it. When it was playing in the background, I was like, yeah, it's all right, but it's just kind of a bit raw and noisy. Whereas this morning, I always listen to them again one final time before the review, and I put on my Sony really good noise canceling headphones, and like whole different album. Like I enjoyed the album so much more this morning. So every time I'm going to put on good headphones. Alan, you just mentioned "Gimme Danger." Like that one really grabbed me. Like holy, this morning, like a really mellow start to it. Probably my favorite track on the album. Like that was really cool. As I was listening to it, I could almost feel like them getting like messed up and fucked up, like a fuzzy buzz kind of coming in.
Recording. They were still right in the throes of their drug addiction.
Yeah, that one I almost like. Yeah, I could feel it. Penetration, like on headphones, the bells in the background were really cool. Like I didn't hear them on my stereo system and stuff, but like little bells in the back. The piano on Raw Power actually was a bit of a surprise, and Death Trip a pretty suitable ender. So I got to say, I really came around today. Like I enjoyed the album, but just again, it kind of irritated me a bit, found it a bit too noisy. But today on headphones, like it's quite complex. There's a lot going on in there. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's a solid entry. I mean, it's a legendary punk album for a reason. And yeah, I should make sure I'm not distracted when I listen to these albums. So good one. Darren.
Yeah, awesome. Glad you guys seem to like it. So that's good. It is definitely raw. And I think I said that if you listen to the why I picked it was I'd fan, but I'd heard Josh Homme on just a local radio station saying, then they let him pick 4 songs to play. And the last one was Shake Appeal, which I think actually is my favorite tune. I'd say Gimme Danger second and Raw Powers. But they're all, it's great. I absolutely love the album. I just think it's so fun. I mean, Kurt Cobain said it was his number 1 album. That's the one album he would take on a deserted beach was Raw Power, and Henry Rollins, Black Flag, has Search and Destroy tattooed on him. Like that's how influential it was. He credits. I mean, so it's like it really was I think the seed that started punk music, and then really put it on the map. So super interesting. I mean, I think now I guess just dive into what we thought for scores. So, I mean, I can go first. I mean, I obviously like this style of music, and I was reading some other reviews, and somebody said if you're like a fan of like hard rock and music, like even metal, punk, kind of anything in that genre, like this is a must listen. I think you absolutely have to. If you're not really into faster, more raw, intense music, you might not like it, but screw you. But I'd say for me, an influence is a 4.5. I think a recommend for me 5. I think even if you kind of like the albums I pick or maybe the music I do, definitely got to listen to it. Overall, I'll do a 4.5. I think we didn't touch on it too much and it seems like every other review did, is that the battles over the mixes, and they still say it's not mixed right. And it's like, whatever. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Bowie did his mix in a day, and they only had 3 channels. They recorded on 3 channels. So it's not like now where there's like 100 different channels for everything. They did it on 3. So Bowie's like, oh, all I could really do was like put the voice up or down and crank the bass. That was about it. Anyway, there's a whole. I mean, if you want to read more on that, there's all this debate. I think all the mixes. I have it on vinyl, and I have the 2 mixes, and I don't know. I like them both. It sounds good to me. Anyway, so those are my scores. What about you? We'll go back to Scott Gregory.
Yeah, I kind of dug into that whole debate as well, too, because they've mixed it like 3 or 4 different times, right? And a lot of the people say that the David Bowie ones are the worst except for all the rest kind of thing. So, but yeah, they only had those 3 tracks. I think it stands the test of time, let alone for it being good for its time. Did it influence me? I mean, I'm 40 and I didn't listen to the album until now, but the list of bands that list them as their influence that I absolutely love is gigantic. So I'll give it a 4 on that strength alone. Must listen to, having heard it now, 5 definitely. Don't live in ignorance like I did for decades. Solve that as quickly as possible. Look for the legacy mix. I do think the Bowie one is the best. And I guess that evens out to, I would say, a 4.5 as well too for for what I liked, a high 4.5, not a almost 4, an almost 5.
Nice. Scott Coates?
Influence. I knew of it, but I think this has kind of made me think about going and listen to some older punk over the next month or so. So I'll give it a 3.5 on influence, only because I did know about Iggy Pop and the Stooges, and I've got a few of their albums. Recommend, I'll give it a full 5. I mean, if anyone's interested in punk, rock, alternative, anything, I think this is one of those bedrock, foundational, pivotal albums. So I'll give it a 5. And overall, I'll give it a 4. I mean, solid album. Enjoyed it. And I'll probably put it on again sometime when I need something really aggressive next to Queens of the Stone Age or something.
I like it. Alan?
Yes, I'm going to echo Scott's sentiment there. I had never really listened to this one before, but by proxy, they influenced me because of who they influenced. So I have to give it a 4.5 for that one. And I am going to go back and listen to more Stooges. I'm kind of curious what the original Stooges sounded like. The first 2 albums there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You go like, oh, a wise guy, huh?
I'm gonna check those out for sure. I would strongly recommend it. Again, just like if nothing else, then for the legacy that this album created. For anyone who likes rock or alternative punk or whatever, it's kind of a must hear. So, and I really enjoyed it. So I would say, what did I say? 4.5 I recommend. I'd say just probably 4.5 all around.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, that's well liked. I'm glad you guys liked it. Like I said, I thought it might be a little aggressive. I was almost going to go something more tame in the punk field, but I'm like, let's go with the godfather of it all.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think Scott Coates, you're up for next month. You're going to start the new year and kick it off. So no pressure. It's just like a whole new decade. So don't blow it, because this will be the one that people remember.
Is it the new decade? Does it start at 1 or does it start at 10?
Starts at 1. Starts at 0. Starts at 20.
Yeah. Are you sure? This is another debate that rages.
I'm not sure of anything.
Does it?
It does on Twitter, and so that's what matters.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. I guess we'll sign out now. Anything else to add, guys, before we go?
Keep on rocking.
We'll never die.
Yeah, keep on rolling. Well, I'd like to thank the Premium 420 Market. This month, I would highly recommend the Altavi Cabaret.
Got to pay for that bandwidth.
Oh, it is a great strain. It is Cabaret. It's awesome. I'm really starting to find the wheelhouse now. That I like the Canadian market. People are starting to figure out which of the cannabises are the best and what they're good for. So, Altavi Cabaret. Try that one. All right. Anyway, with that recommendation, I will leave you. As mentioned, Scott Coates is next month. Join us usually around the first of the month. We'll be updating all our content, but we have a lot of content. We have over 5 years now. So thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy our ramblings, because I think we do. All right. Sonic Collective signing off.
Adios, muchachos.